realised I hadn't uploaded. Here we are, as always.
Indeed. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Indeed. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. And here we are with the next installment of HoGaLe for you. And my goodness, we've got an action-packed show tonight. It's a Saturday. And as usual, I was singing karaoke with my friend Dan. We love to do a bit of karaoke every Saturday. And he's in a closer part of London than he was before. So we've been really getting stuck in all the classics. Oh, my goodness. And before we carry on with the show, Lena, I need to mention an Aussie legend that really I only discovered the other day. I'd heard his voice before, but there was never a name to it. And he's called John Farnham. Do you know who I'm talking about?
You just found out, Johnny. The voice.
Guy.
And a nice guy. You know, he was always a nice guy. Yeah.
This guy,
the voice.
If you've not heard
his song,
yeah,
the voice.
Exactly. His song is
an anthem.
Voice. Exactly. This man has the voice of a lion. I mean, really, it's like this is, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of AI, as you guys know, but I would love to have an AI version of a lion singing with the voice of John Farnham, because it's epic. And you've got to hear his version of the Beatles song, Help. Oh, yeah. I might even put in a link afterwards. It's absolutely epic. But I'm going to introduce you. So of course, we have the ladies here with me. Now, Lady G, we're glad to see you back, but how are you feeling? You have gastroenterocolitis. Oh, what is it called?
No, diverticulitis.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Ouch. Yeah.
Are you on antibiotics or something? What are they giving you to try?
Yeah, that's about it. They've given me some antibiotics, and that's it.
Wow.
You know, you just gotta suffer through it and hopefully get to the end of it. And yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Yes.
I understand. Does bio yogurt help, or is that an irritant? Isn't that supposed to help, like easy things to digest, I would imagine?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think this is it's got a you know, it's stuck inflammation and everything, and nothing is moving, and and so it causes, like, when you go to the bathroom, it feels like you're having glass shards. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's like trying to pass glass shards and then doubled over it, and absolutely the worst gas pain you've ever felt.
It is legendarily painful.
It is very painful.
Bless you. Well, look, more thoughts and prayers and stuff, and I hope that you'll make a speedy recovery, and I guess one foot in front of the other, and you know, minerals, nutrition, you know, simple foods, I guess.
Well, you know what did it? I can tell you, as long as I was doing straight carnivore, I was great. The minute I started adding bread, and I started adding the fiber, the raw vegetable fiber thing, that's when it got me. So I've got to go back to the carnivore. That's the only thing that works for me.
Yeah, maybe carnivores with some bits of veg. Also, as well, like everyone tells you, everyone told me particularly, like, and they say to you, like, when you're a kid, you know, adults will say to you, you know, your body changes after a while. Your body will only like certain things. And I kind of knew it was true, but there is truth to that. So let's hope once you go back, you know, gradually get yourself back to where you were, and then you will be all good. Lena, how have you been in the last week? And then obviously we'll get on with the show. We've got so much content.
Yes, we will. Just briefly. So I got home very late from a Balkan psychedelic dance party. And what did strike me was, here are people, you've got Greeks and Turks and Croatians and Serbians and so who've been warring for years. More music, less war, guys. Everyone had a great time.
Oh, that's good.
Macedonians and Cypriots, and it was brilliant.
Wow. And I must say, Alina, you're looking particularly glamorous this morning with that plunging neckline going on.
Oh, how kind. It's all about distracting from the hungover face.
Well, looking wonderful. So, shall we begin with the first question?
We better begin, or everyone will hang up.
Oh, indeed, bless. So, first question is coming in from Manuela Orchid, and this is kind of like an adjunct because she actually asked on my Thursday fry-up about NATO. So, I ran out of time, Manuela, to ask on my Thursday fry-up, so I'm bringing it here now. So the first part of the question on Thursday was like, hi, Hoagie, I heard there's some British troops in Ukraine. I don't think Putin is bluffing when he says that if that continues, he will use nuclear weapons. Why do NATO provoke so much? Do you think that this will escalate? And then she's asked for HoGaLe today. So she says, hello, Hoagie and ladies. I hope you're well and happy. I have one question. Could it be that a big part of NATO at some point in the future withdraws from Ukraine? Thank you and have a lovely evening. Much love from Germany. So I just thought I would just put those things together there. So, which part to go with?
Yeah. Maybe just look at NATO and the Ukraine conflict.
I think so.
Let's
see what comes up, because there's three of us, and the cards will always give a full picture. So let's pull on the NATO conflict in general and how that relates to Russia, because there's all these war noises going on.
And Melody says in the chat, Johnny Farnham is brilliant.
I mean, his voice is just, oh my, I'm going to put in a link in the video. Listen to him sing Help by the Beatles. His cover is just sensational. So that would give us some upliftment, as the world falls apart. Yes. John Farnham.
Yeah. See, I knew him when he was Johnny. I still think of him as Johnny Farnham. And at some point, because he was on stage from 11, 12 years of age, right? It was always little Johnny Farnham. So there he is.
Amazing voice. Glorious tenor. NATO
and Ukraine.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. I know. You hear these groans all around.
Oh dear. Who's ready to go first? Oh,
well,
man.
I guess so.
Lena, you ready to go?
Okay. So back in the day, I think this is 10 of Pentacles. I think this was the founding of NATO, and money came from all the different countries, and it made sense to form this bloc and be a source of strength and a legacy into the future, which is what this card's about. All with good intentions. Here's the Star card, right? So, post-war, it was a post-war alignment to bring it in, because each of the European countries is quite small, so you need to join together. So NATO made sense. And it worked and was reliable for a long while. But here comes the Hermit and the Seven of Pentacles with the Harvest. So I think behind the scenes now, people are trying to work out how to keep the funding going to be adequate enough, because I don't think anyone in NATO 2.5 years ago thought there would be a full-scale war on their doorstep. I don't think Ukraine thought of it. I don't think NATO thought it. So It was enough till then. Now they're very confused because they're getting applications now for more countries to join NATO for their protection. And this, of course, is Putin's Waterloo, his here with this Wheel of Fortune. It's his nightmare. He was worried originally about Western and NATO nuclear weapons being pointed at Russia, etc. And you can't altogether blame him. He was starting to feel hemmed in. But this meant now you've got Sweden wanting to join. You've got everybody wanting to join. His neighbours all want to join NATO. So that's what I got on it. It's sort of almost from Putin's perspective, and NATO aren't sure how to move forward at this point. What did you guys get?
All right. Just before you go, Lady G, I would just want to add, there's a little bit of an irony there in terms of Putin with that Wheel of Fortune, almost something coming full circle, because it is true. Once upon a time, Russia did actually want to join NATO. That was one of the things that Putin wasn't lying about. I mean, that was actually true.
Yes.
So you see, there's this extraordinary, you know.
And when we think about wheels of history, had NATO or EU embraced him at that point with conditions or something, could have been a very different world.
Yeah.
He resented that.
Yeah, he did. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, overriding the thing or the choices made, the path of life walked. So underneath of it all, we have that the people had come together and they saw that maybe this would be a good manipulation of the other powers that are, you know, kind of toxic. But what we have now is that worry that's going on, the mental stress with everything, with, again, what they're being fed. And they're trying to figure out some sage advice for this moving forward. Because what we have now going into it is a lot of pain. People are really worried, and the challenge is juggling all of this stuff. So in the past, we've had them working on it, but now where is it moving to? So it just looks like, you know, they're worried about, of course, the powers, those like Putin and stuff. And yeah, they're just trying to move forward the best that they can.
Very, very, very tricky. And I'm just going to click up some of the comments here. So thank you, Leslie, for your donation. Much appreciated. And of course, as you know, with HoGaLe, with the chat has a whole life of its own. So they're already debating
guys.
Biden's speech and stuff like that, which we'll obviously look at. So someone saying Geek Hillbilly says Sweden did join NATO. Yes, they did. And then Rosalind Lander says Biden was a talking example of morals and ethics. He is what America really is and what Americans want to be. I loved his face when he saw MTG in that getup. So of course, what I would say with Biden's speech, it was just so nice for him to see him exuding passion.
Yes.
Passion.
Yes.
You know, like I don't care if anyone calls him angry or whatever. It needs to come out with that passion. It's just so important, especially at this stage. Is the passion that moves the people. And even Dr.Lena was just like, oh, Biden's so angry. But at least then, if he's angry and animated, do you know what I mean? That conveys and carries on. You know, stuff like that. Who else as well? I'll read my cards in just a sec. So I love you guys and appreciate these shows a ton. Thank you, Kai, so much as well. And who else here as well? Dr. Nancy Living Co-Creatively, thank you so much for your donation. All right, my cards, back to the NATO thing. Now, look, I will tell you guys now, there was someone, you know, sometimes you get these saucy comments. And you remember last week, I had a lot of reversed cards. So, you know, I had a lot of reverse cards, which isn't usually the case. And then someone said, oh, well, maybe it's because you're wearing those funny glasses. You can't see the cards properly. Yeah. Meow. But these glasses are here to protect my eyes from, obviously, the blue light, because for me, it's midnight, folks, midnight. And it's really difficult for me to get to sleep after shows. You know, it takes me a while to wind down, and you can imagine with the light. Anyway, what's interesting is I went through, just straightened up my cards, getting them ready. I did this last week, shuffled my cards, pulled them out, and guess what? I've got a reversal again. So guys, this is spirit that does this. Honest to God, you can straighten out your card as much as you like and you'll still get a reversal. Anyway, so what's the situation around NATO and everything like that? Look what I get. The Tower. Oh,
God.
Oh. So look, this isn't good. Yeah, things are escalating. Someone actually has got a question about, you know, the leak. You know, I think someone was asking about that leak. You know, the German general connected on an unsecure line, and of course he got hacked. Yeah, someone was asking last week, was it true? Yes, it got hacked, and it's revealed a lot of stuff. So look at that. That's the situation around the obstacle card. Need I say more? The High Priestess. Yeah. Scheming, shenanigans, things happening under the table, ulterior motives, predatory actions and stuff like that. So I think what's emerged is that there's quite a few more people in Ukraine than maybe was first thought. Yeah, which of course is, I think this is talking about that revelation of that phone call and certain things that were revealed. If we look here, we do have justice in the middle. So I'm hoping that there will be some kind of good judgment, as it were. That's the much I can glean out of this card for the moment, considering what it's surrounded with. Here we have the Strength card, but in reverse. When the card is up, this is talking about strength, virtue, self-restraint, all of this stuff. But when it's reversed, it can mean a loss of control, bestiality, or, you know, the beastly instincts taking over. Yeah, which isn't that great. And then my outcome card. I mean, Three of Swords. Sorry, guys. But as you know, we just read the cards. We take the questions and we read the cards. It's as simple as that. That's what I'm getting. So the situation with NATO and Ukraine, that is really not looking good. And we just have to just pray for the best. Anything to add to that, ladies?
It's got the feel to me at this stage of a stalemate. I don't see Russia winning. I don't see Ukraine winning outright. It's got that stalemate edge.
Yeah.
You have to negotiate.
I think so. I think it's the only way, because this cannot keep going on forever. It just can't. You know, countries will just run out of money. You know, it's as simple as that. Are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
All right. This is a SCOTUS one. And let me just click up here. I've just seen another donation has crept in without me realizing. Oh, 1 minute.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Oh, wow. My gosh.
We're very grateful.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Right. Okay. So this is coming from Sarah Hellis, and she asked 2 questions, but they're both very juicy. So I'll give her leeway and let her have 2. So the first one here, she asks, will Justice Clarence Thomas, we've got to get Shakespeare's opinion on him. Right.
Sorry. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah. Let's get on there before we forget. Will Justice Clarence Thomas accept TV host John Oliver's offer of $1 million a year for the rest of his life and a $2 million RV if he signs a contract and leaves the Supreme Court by March 18th. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, but it's too prescriptive and stuff. I'm not convinced it's a... I'm not saying he didn't make the offer. I think he did. But Clarence Thomas is, let's say, it has access to more money than that on a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it reminds me a little bit, Lena, if you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind repeating a little bit of a funny story that you told me about a socialite that was very popular and had a very wealthy husband. And this woman was in demand she had many admirers. And there was a guy that kind of ran up to her, been trying to seduce her for ages. And he came out and he had this little diamond and he said, "Let's run away together." And she said, "Darling, I'm married to a diamond dealer."
And she said, "I'd rather have chocolates."
Right. It's like that with Clarence Thomas.
It's like that. It's a toy amount.
Shall we read on it, or do you feel it? Because I don't know anything about the question. Do you feel it's a bit frivolous?
What do you think, Lady G?
No, it's just not enough of an incentive for him.
No.
Fair enough. Shall we see, though, what Shakespeare thinks of Clarence Thomas?
Oh, yes.
That would be good.
Right. Now, Lady G, I think it is your turn this week. Yeah, I think it is your turn this week. So 1 second, let me just get to the correct pages, and then let's just make sure that I didn't get any of the back pages. All right. So as usual, tell me where to stop, and we'll see what the bard thinks. Oh, Clarence Thomas.
And stop.
Oh, this is okay. This is very interesting. I will substitute the word she for he in this occasion, but I'm going to read it all. If he should make tender of his love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit. Ooh. Much ado about nothing. I think, yeah.
Contemptible spirit.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Quite a sophisticated, not an outright cuss.
Yeah, not a howler, but interesting.
Because, when it comes to these characters, isn't it? He doesn't, like Trump just gets slapped down. Don Jr. just gets a slap down. But these cunning characters, if he should make tender of, if I put the she in, this is what it originally was. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit. I feel like there's almost a whiff of the wife in there as well.
Yes, I was thinking Ginny too. Yeah.
Now
that viewer had another question, Hoagie, as well, I think.
Yes. And it was question number 4. So, and then here we are. So in a way, actually, we can go straight to that because Nicola did ask about Ukrainian National Security Advisor. Let's look at this. Ukrainian National Security Advisor Olensky Danilov warned that Germany is full of new generation Russian spies, putting officials in a vulnerable position. And then she goes on to say, Revealing Light Tarot had a flashback to Putin in 1985 in East German KGB and says, after a small incident of an intel leak, I think I lost the extra bit there, but I think the question was like, what is Russia's influence in Germany with these new generation of Russian spies? I think that's a good question.
Yeah. Germany and Russian spies. While we're shuffling. Oh, Hinemorama's here. Kia ora. Good to see Amari here.
Oh. Russia or Germany.
Because now the old Cold War spies are all literally dying off. So, and it's a different spy world, more high.
I mean, they're probably on TikTok, aren't they? To be honest, I mean, that's what modern spying would be now, wouldn't it? TikTok and all that kind of stuff.
But there's always room for a bit of human intel. So, let's see. Germany.
And old-fashioned hacking a line, like with that general.
Yeah.
It's old school. I mean, the fact he made that mistake is actually quite astonishing, to be honest.
And the honey traps never go out of date.
Yeah, that never goes out of fashion.
Okay. Well, you know. Will I start, Hogarth?
Go for it. Oh.
Yeah. So it starts with the Five of Cups. So I think this is suggesting Russia lost a bit of traction in spy world with this, probably, as people were before the Ukraine invasion, people were more relaxed. This seemed like the last generation's issues. You know what I mean? I think, and suddenly there is this energy of that they felt they'd missed out. I think quite a bit of energy and human capital was put in quickly by Russia to infiltrate Germany, because there's a particular relationship. Why did Navalny go to Germany after he was poisoned and stuff? So there's this connection here. I think this is, with the Lovers card, Germany supporting opponents of Putin. And this is what forced them in a bit of a panic to do more infiltration. They're holding on to what they know and what they've discovered, maybe both ways, but my vibe on this is more Russia's found some stuff and is holding on to it. And out come the Three of Wands. I think they're putting boats out and coming in. I think they're planting people, they're planting ideas, they're planting disinformation, and seeing what comes back to roost between the spies of both these countries. Is my take.
Lady G, what do you have?
Well, at the center of it, it's about, what they're sharing. What are they getting in the dark of night? Underneath of it, they're sharing what they're finding, and they think that it's going to move them forward to more strength. But above it, we have that it's an abuse of power by Putin. And so that is the message that's going to start getting out. What's going on now, is they're trying to play this game of getting away with it. But the challenge is the world. The world is watching, and the world is on to what they're doing. And it's all about going into it, democracy, holding on to democracy. And our last card, the outcome, is King of Pentacles. Who's going to rule? So, they're getting more wise to what they're doing, what Russia's doing across the world with infiltrating in so many ways.
Yeah, such a tricky one, isn't it? Such a tricky one. Let's get some more comments up. I don't know this one, but I thought it was a worth read out. So, Hein Marama. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Ultralight Beam, sung by Stan Walker, Hoagie. Who's that?
He's a Maori guy who won Australian Idol. And he has a dream voice too. You should check out his voice, Stan Walker. And what was funny to me was as he got further through the competition and it was down to the final, and the final was going to be at Sydney Opera House. And something like 300 of his relatives made their way to Australia to do a haka for him.
Wow.
At the final of Australian Idol. It was something. It was something.
Wow. Okay, I'll check that out, because I do love a wonderful voice, be it male or female, very inspiring and stuff like that. Well, look, my cards, gosh. Oh, the world, folks, the world. But remember, there is still song, there is still love, there is still hope, there is still courage. And we are joined by, what is this, 1,496 of you right now. So almost 1,500. So thank you guys so much for joining us. All right. So Russia, and in regards to Germany and stuff like that. And let's not forget, Germany was split, obviously, between West and East Germany. And East Germany, of course, was communist. So, you know, there are those connections there. Anyway, so here we are. Look, this is obviously about what abuses of power, the Five of Swords. Surprise, surprise. So, of course, this is about, you know, the wider infiltration. You guys have heard my analogy now, or heard it many times, where I was talking about what is under the Empress's skirts. I said tumbleweed. Did you ladies see that there's been a tumbleweed infestation?
I couldn't believe it after your reading. Whole towns, people couldn't get out of their houses for tumbleweed.
I mean, it's like, you can't make this stuff up. Honestly, it just comes through. It just comes through the zeitgeist.
It's hilarious.
I mean, it's hilarious, and it's kind of spooky and weird as well. So yes, America's infiltrated by tumbleweed, but that is also talking about Russia's influence in general, because the original name for tumbleweed is the Russian thistle. So we're literally kind of getting that. I know, it's astonishing. So it seems like a bit of Russian thistle is tumbling, of course, into Germany and stuff like that as well, particularly, of course, with this phone call. In the obstacle position, look, we've got this card here, which is the Ten of Cups. Now, when we're reading for ordinary people, you know, this is genuinely a nice card. But when we're talking about politics, we know that this is a bit of the fake family, isn't it? But you know what? The way I'm interpreting this, if we read this from the Russia espionage perspective, could this be like almost going back to the old family, the old connections from Soviet era, or trying to create a new family or network of spies? Maybe there could be that. But there's this element here of a family coming together. This, of course, also as well sharing information and all that kind of stuff. It's a juggling act. Yeah. Because we live in a 24 hours news cycle, but of course, social media and all that kind of stuff. I think espionage on some levels is easier, but also a lot more difficult today as well, because you can just be picked up anywhere. And there's almost too many. Do you remember once upon a time, it was like, tap the phone line of the ambassador to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, now there's so many different channels. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is talking about modern espionage, how it's a juggling act, and, you know, how you have to factor in so many things, and maybe even the expense. Maybe it's a bit more expensive now to actually kind of do these things. Of course, here's Putinshka trying to balance stuff out. Yeah. He's like trying to realign the chemistry, because, of course, we know the whole, sadly, the tragic death of Navalny has been disastrous PR for, obviously, for Putinshka. And I think this is also about shifting things around, moving the chemicals around a little bit. And Lena mentioned honey traps. And look, I think this is one or two here. I think a few long-legged Russian ladies are still doing the rounds. Because this card, of course, the Nine of Pentacles, can deal with wealth and abundance, the lady with the mostest. But let's not forget, this is also a courtesan card. This is the person for sale. And there is more than a whiff of, shall we say, the call girl, as it were, or definitely the honey trap here in this context. So I think it's a combined factor where Putin is using kind of conventional warfare means combined with trying to create a new family, balancing all of this, you know, trying to get that chemical balance, you know, right, and with like honey traps in there. So I think it's a broad church of espionage that he's up to. Anything to add to that, ladies?
No.
No?
No.
All right. And then someone's just here. I love the way Dark Brandon confronted SCOTUS, suggesting women will have a say over reproductive rights. Yes. Yeah, obviously that's going to be a big thing in the elections. Okay. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah.
All right, so this is going back to Sarah Hillis and her second question. Very juicy one. Oh my gosh, guys, you've been given fabulous questions this week. So she says, rumor has it that former Jeffrey Epstein associate and current jailbird, Ghislaine Maxwell, remember her, is planning to write a book to spill the beans on Duck Larange, aka Trump. Will the book be released before the November election, and will it include dirt on a host of other elites? Now, can anyone give me an update? Because on my Thursday Friday, someone asked me to pull cards on Viktor Orban visiting Duck Larange. And apparently he's been able to stump up the money to pay the the E. Jean Carroll fine. But it was so interesting. Before that news was divulged, I got the 6 of Pentacles for Trump, and I said he's literally going with his begging. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there as well. Oh, look at that. Card just fell out.
Sorry, what was that question again?
So it's so basically Ghislaine Maxwell is apparently writing a new book. Will she spill the beans on Duck Larange? Will the book be released before the November election? And will it include dirt on a host of other elites? There we are. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh, I've moved to the Deviant Moon cards for Ghislaine. Shall I go?
Go for it.
Okay. Queen of Cups here, you know, which would be her. Right. Now, the problem is no one likes Ghislaine Maxwell. Here's the 3 of Swords, broken heart, because if nothing else, she loved that man. This is someone who could not move on. So she's coming from a position of a broken heart. He's dead and she's incarcerated. Now, that was a 3. I've got another 3 here with the 3 of Pentacles. I don't know if you can see this image, but this figure is gouging out the eye of the other figure. Like this is hurting people. However she can hurt them, she will go there. The problem is this. Here it is. This is the 10 of Swords. It's like she's helping because she is in jail. Books take a long time. They could have been working on it for 2 years. I don't know. But this is restriction to me. I don't know that it would legally be past muster. Books take a long time to come out is what I'm saying. And even if she's been fantasizing about this book since day one, I'd be kind of surprised. A version might come out alluding to what it's talking about, which would be a Punch and Judy show. But I'm not getting the vibe that she has the power. I mean, MAGAs don't care and everyone else knows. I don't know who the audience really is.
Fair point. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, at the center of it, we have justice. You know, she's in jail. Above it, we have her, you know, trying to hold on to power, but we have that it looks like no, it won't be released. People are not going to see it. We have a Two of Swords kind of blocked with that.
Yeah.
But going into it, okay, she's got the digs, you know, big money people. Again, Trump holding on to money, and I think it's more than him. There are a lot more people of wealth and power that she has about.
Yeah.
The challenge is actually getting this stuff out there, you know. So she's going to be holding on to it. She's holding on to it, you know, wanting, but I think as long as she's in jail, they're not going to perhaps allow her to release it.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, the cards that I got, and I just want to share this little comment here, which came in. So this is coming from BJ's Esoteric Musings. MTG got boxed out of her committee by the chairman, stating her comments will be stricken from the record and she will not be allowed to speak. Well done. Oh. Well. The Rottweiler has been muzzled, at least temporarily.
Love it.
Thought that was worth sharing. All right, with Ghislaine Maxwell. So I was shuffling the cards and a card fell out. Yeah. Look at the card that fell out. Surprise.
Seven of Swords.
Seven of Swords. So, of course, it's not necessarily her trying to get away with something. I think this is more about what the book would be about. These powerful persons who are basically operating outside of the law. They're on these super yachts. They're in all of these, you know, funny places, getting up to what? No good shenanigans. Oh, and we've got 1,605 of you here right now. Thank you so much. So in many ways, I feel like her book would be an expose on all of that. But look at the other cards. My goodness. So here she is. She's behind bars, but she's wanting to rear up and get stuff out there. Yeah. Trouble is that she's in prison, and I'm not sure if you're actually allowed to publish books of people that are in prison.
Yes.
But,
I don't know what the legal thing is yet.
She's certainly got plenty of time to write. Hasn't she? What is it, 16 years or I don't know. She could write a whole fantasy trilogy and books on philosophy, and you know, she's got a lot of time. But here she is wanting to make stuff happen because she's like, well, my life's a living hell. I may as well just, you know, keep going. Yeah, I may as well just try and make something happen, because the Knight of Wands is about passion and action, isn't it? Now, looky here. As you guys know, with the star, I have a certain interpretation for the star, particularly when we're reading political. And I often refer to this as what? Duck l'orange, or the narcissist. So, of course, this would also be true of Epstein as well, who, of course, you know, she was his muse and they were there in crime together, you know, all sorts of different things. So I think on a certain level, this is representing her vision of herself, with all of this juicy information that's going to put everyone and everything on the spotlight. This can also be, of course, you know, Epstein himself. But this is Duck l'orange, yeah? Because remember, that was the subject of the question. Here he is. He showed up. The book, of course, if it ever does come out, and if she's able to live to actually see the thing published.
Big risk.
You know what I mean? It's a bit risky. But, of course, there's a lot of hoo-ha, maybe not so much from the public, but those that know Ghislaine know that, you know, they don't want to be mentioned. You know, these people want to stay anonymous. And then when we see the last two cards, this can also be dealing what? With the powerful men that she may be mentioning in the books. So we know here we don't have to attribute specific characters to these. We can just say these are definitely the powerful men that could be implicated by Ghislaine, because we know they've all been in there mixing in all this stuff. We may not necessarily know their names, but that's the energy present. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Well, I think that ship has sailed, Ghislaine. I don't think people are fascinated by knowing that rich men have sex with young women, or boys for that matter, on tropical islands when they can. It's hardly a revelation. And on the one hand, she knew everybody in the A list in the entire world, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's almost too late.
Yeah. Because it's, and also as well, things are so politically intense and crazy right now. It almost, I mean, it's awful, but it's almost like small beer, isn't it? Because it just seems, everything seems to be just ramping up to the absolute, nth degree. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think many of the horses are actually bolted. And I think this is her last desperate attempt as well to kind of light the narcissist energy to get that attention, because now she's being forgotten, and narcissists hate that.
That's right.
Right. Let's have a look. Actually, I want to definitely make sure we get these ones in. Someone was asking about Speaker Johnson and the State of the Union address and saying that he looked uncomfortable, and that was Nicola. Did look a bit uncomfortable, didn't he? But I would like to talk about Viktor Orban and Javier Milei, because I want to talk about new developments. But let's talk about, so this is coming from Teresa Campbell, and she said Orban and Trump met at Mar-a-Lago. Hungary has borders with Ukraine and Melania's home country. Question: did Trump discuss an exile in Budapest for Melania, or maybe for himself? I put cards on this, but I want to see what you guys
have a look. I'm going to move to the circus deck. Oh no, maybe I should use the conventional deck. While we're shuffling on that, Barbara in the comments says, we found out a few days ago that Chubb Security had posted some money for Trump in one of the cases. And I didn't know, Barbara, thanks for telling us, Chubb comes from Russia. I didn't know. All the banking trucks and stuff are often Chubb Security. It never crossed my mind.
There you go.
Very interesting.
The cards that I got for Duck L'Orange when I pulled on this with the Viktor Orban was literally, like I said, the Six of Pentacles. So him literally begging for money. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So Orban and Trump met in Mar-a-Lago. Hungary. Did Trump discuss an exile in Budapest for Melania, or potentially himself? I think that's probably more likely.
Oh.
Did you see when she turned up at one of the rallies and she said, what is it? The Lord's Prayer. Did you?
Melania did.
Yeah. Did you guys not see that?
No.
It was one of the most robotic renditions I've ever heard of the Lord's Prayer in my whole life. So she showed up at a rally. Yeah, and she was like, heaven.
I think this is part of her deal. I think she gets $1 million an appearance. I'm just making up the number, everyone. And she'll agree to do, a few things with her. Well, Hogarth, I have to adopt your interpretation of the star for this reading. Normally I have another interpretation, but we were just talking about it. Here he is, the Yeti in full flight. He knows he will have to make some decisions. I think it's only just now penetrating the cranium of the Yeti that he is in, massive trouble. I don't think he's really considered it until, maybe the last few months even. So he realizes now, this is the card of being in cahoots. This Three of Pentacles talking there. There's some confusion. Well, any conversation with Trump is confusing in every way. I think this is almost like Orban and a third party. They almost didn't understand what he was saying literally. it's like, is this about lending you money and having influence should you get back in, or is this about putting you up in my basement? You know, like what are you actually talking about? I think they had trouble with that. I think this is a Trump fantasy that here he is, King of Pentacles. I can always go to Slovenia. I could always go to Hungary. I could always go to Doha. I could always do. But you know what? He's a 76-year-old American guy who lives on hamburgers. He would be so unhappy in another country.
I'm sure he's had a little bit of borscht from time to time, a little, and some maybe.
No, I'm sure he hasn't. I'd take money on that one. Let's have a wager. Can anyone prove that Trump ever ate a dish that wasn't American?
Lady G, what do you have? As we have 1,710 of you in the house.
Well, at the center of it, we have, yeah. When things end at the White House or whatever he's doing, his properties. Now, why does this remind me of his ex-wife, Barry?
Ivana. It is the Ivana card.
Yeah, it's the Ivana card. Really has her there buried. So yeah, it's about going into it about her death and the death and the ending of this. And so he's putting out some sort of a message that he's trying to cook up something. And the challenge is, he's really thinking he's got something to give. And yeah, the wish fulfilling card, what he's trying to push, what he's trying to sell them. And again, underneath of it, we've got judgment. And we have what's being held on to. And something, again, that he thinks when it comes down that he can birth, something he can give. He's working on it, above it. Yeah. And because he is feeling the difficulty. So he's trying to, of course, manipulate something. But he's trying to make it looks like he's trying to make it sound so attractive that I've got something here that would be beneficial to you.
Honestly, God rest her soul. She is dead, bless her, and wow, that card.
This is the Edgar Allan Poe deck.
Even in the darkness, that you can see spirit has a sense of humor.
Yeah, totally.
Has a sense of humor. Oh, okay. What are the cards that I have? So really, what's this about? It's like all hands on deck, quick rescue, Duck L'Orange. Let's ride in there. Crisis, ride into the rescue. So this is him literally feeling the pressure, the crisis. And as you guys know, I said, look, when he went into his Jupiter K2 dasher, I said, K2 will take a chainsaw to his finances. And it's the finances that's where he feels it. If he gets locked up in prison, but is still rich, he'll take it as a badge of honor and he'll grift from prison. But as a broke man, there's not much that he can do. So he was like, oh my God, I really need to pick up the phone and get this stuff sorted. This is literally Trump ringing up every single crony he knows. He's like, God damn, help me here, guys, help. Yeah. If we look in the obstacle position, oh dear, maybe the party's over. Not so jolly anymore. Yeah, not so jolly anymore. This is kind of like when it comes in the obstacle, we can see it as reversed. And this is very much the wang, 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 wang card. This is when the party's over, all of the doors have been opened, the frigid air is allowed into the room and it's time for everyone to leave. So in a way, this is almost like, I think Trump can sense his ability to show people, a good time and all of that stuff. Because remember, I've always said, look, there's a big element with Duck L'Orange when it comes to the seduction. And what I mean by the seduction, think of all that, the opulence, even gaudy as it still impresses people, golden toilet seats and all that stuff. But think of all the fundraising dinners that he's done in the past. But now it's kind of like the shine is coming off, especially when we look here. Look at this. Death card in the middle, kind of echoing Lady G's card. But I mean, this is a real turning point for Dr. Orange, because once he doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the kudos with these kind of very kind of, you know, these kind of sociopathic, narcissistic groupings. It's all about rank, and rank is often decided by wealth. So I think Trump is literally have to hawk himself out, as he usually does, and he's having to make promises to people. When I get back into power, we'll be able to do this, do that. Do you know what I mean? The party will be back again. Don't worry, don't worry. Just give me some money. And everyone's like, looks like your prospects are kind of not looking so great, Trumpy Trump. Oh, don't worry about that. Ignore that. Don't worry. A brand new world, gentlemen. Yes. Give me money and I will be, you know, I'm going to look after you, Viktor Orban. I'm going to look after you, you know, Putinshka. I'm going to come back and it's going to be happy days. Fascism for all, for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Happy days are back here. That's how I feel like he's selling. Yeah. But his outcome here is the spy in the camp. There's this annoying sword of truth that keeps on punctuating his plans, and I think these are the fines, the kind of the gadfly that keeps on kind of gnawing at him. So apparently someone said in the comments on another video of mine, he managed to meet the bill for E. Jean Carroll, but there's still the best part of what is it, $500 million left over with the 300 and whatever millions plus the interest. So we'll have to see.
And the real threat is, with any of this money he gets, is it a national security risk to America?
Yeah.
And I hope someone's really looking at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we look? We have to talk about Javier Milei. Yeah. Yes. Or at least let me give I'll give you a news update and then we'll see what Shakespeare thinks of Viktor Orban. How about that? 2 Shakespeares for one. Now, you will remember a while back, do you remember I was saying how I got chewed out in the comments by someone who thought that I was insulting all of Argentina? Do you remember? She was like, well, I'm glad I don't watch your channel anymore. You know, Javier Milei, you know, he's going to do great things and blah, blah, blah. And remember, we scoffed. Do you remember? We scoffed on the channel. We were like, are you sure, sweetheart? Are you sure? Anyway, this is what he's been up to recently. Javier Milei, and this was reported in the Telegraph. I don't read the Telegraph, but, you know, the things kind of come up. Anyway, so in the Telegraph, they said Javier Milei shuts down Argentina's largest public news agency, Telam, for spreading propaganda.
It's very serious.
Yeah. So the controversial leader took office in December with a promise to take a chainsaw. Remember, he's the guy with the chainsaw. Sell your organs, everyone, if you need money. Chainsaw to the country's status quo, and he has previously referred to Congress as a nest of rats. Now, that could be potentially true, but that's not the point. The point is like how we were describing. He's an he's an autocrat. He's authoritarian.
Yeah, totally. And Argentina has a lot of provinces, and traditionally taxes go to the national capital and get given back to the provinces for health, education, police. He said, unless you vote for all my fascist reforms, you will get no money. No money. For doctors, nurses, even police. It's a complete extortion.
Yeah, just like we were saying. It's just like, and it's so sad, the situation, because obviously the people wanted something different. But look how it's turning out. I mean, it's just authoritarianism with bells on. And the last thing I read, it said inflation in Argentina passes 250% after the devaluing of the peso, which has pushed poverty to almost 60% of Argentinians are now in poverty. Now, apparently, the black market peso is starting to do better, or there's some kind of something going on. But I mean, that is very, very difficult.
It's very worrying. It's very worrying.
Difficult.
And again, will the court system be able to stand up to him or not? So it's we're seeing this globally. How strong are the pillars of democracy?
Absolutely. Pluto in Capricorn, everyone.
Pluto in
Capricorn is government. We're seeing it everywhere. The shadow of Pluto is plutocracy, autocracy, all of the different ocracies. Well, you know what? The time has gone in a flash. Maybe we should just leave it there. I'm exhausted.
Yes, totally. Can we just have a one-card pull to finish? There's a question here.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have this question. With Trump, is he threatening his own children to pay up, to contribute to the coffers? Shall we just do a one card?
Yeah, let's do a one card pull. Dr.Lena, is he threatening
the kiddies?
Well, we know Jared and Ivanka have got a little bit of money, but you know they got $2 billion.
Can I just jump in here? That 2.5 billion, right, that he got from the Saudis, that he needed that because he had debts due of 2.5 billion. Okay, so everyone thinks they've got cash in the money bank. That was to keep the receivers at bay. He owed 2.5 billion. So that throws a different light on.
Well, let's see if one of us gets the poverty card. All right, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Trump and his kids.
Oh, his kids. Oh my God, you got the devil with the 6 of Pentacles. Look at that. And what's that card, Lady G?
The Emperor, of course.
Oh, of course. And the devil and the compromise.
So how do you interpret your card, Lena? 6 of Pentacles, I mean.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's real pressure in the sense that everything I've done for you, you'd be nobody without me. Ugly stuff, not asking nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you, Lady G?
Absolutely. The Emperor, I made you, you owe me. And that whole dynamic.
Yeah.
And the devil, of course, with Dr.Lena says it all. Emotional blackmail, arm twisting, threatening probably to leak stories about his own children. Kushner, what kind of son-in-law are you? Maybe I should just let the press know exactly how you got that money from the Saudis. You know what I mean? This is blackmail. He is pulling every dirty, nappy trick in the book against his own family to extricate money out of them. I mean, I don't know.
You think you can't be surprised? But sometimes just 3 cards going, oh, and this is nasty. This isn't, honey, please, can you lend daddy a bit? This is no, blackmail, everything. He is just letting rip. And I love those one card pulls because they can just be so profound. 3 cards can say they're
so
just
much.
Fabulous.
I think it put it all in. But the time has gone. It has gone in a flash. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I think it was 17. It was almost 1,800 of you joining us live.
God.
So we really, really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who has donated as well and liked and subscribed. If you'd like to join the ladies' channels, they are in the video description below. If you'd like to support HoGaLe, please consider liking and subscribing, of course, to this channel. And happy Sunday as well to everyone who is watching us on Sunday. Oh, and one thing, just a little update. Catherine's uncle, Gary Goldsmith, as if she needed any more problems at this time, has been voted out of the Big Brother house after 4 days and was booed on the way out. So at least she doesn't have that on her plate at the
How embarrassing would it be
Oh.
to have your uncle on the Big Brother house? As
totally.
if
But
life
again,
wasn't difficult enough.
exactly. Pluto in Capricorn, everyone. Institutions, traditions, institutions, top-down structures. That's also royal family. But we will leave it there. So thank you so much, everyone. And of course, we will see you next week. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Mwah! Bye-bye for now. All right.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
guys.